Awesome. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Title. My name is Janal Reid. For those of you that I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, I am so honored to serve on the Women at HVACR Board of Directors, and I am the membership and committee chair. So, I get to host this podcast this season. I also am a co owner of Serveway Heating and Air Conditioning in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. And so, that's my kind of behind the title, who I am. And I'm really excited to get to host because we have some incredible speakers lined up. We also have some very engaging topics that I believe will really resonate deeply with the women across our industry. So before we get started, I just wanted to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be notified when our new episodes and fresh content come out. You don't want to miss anything. I also want to make sure that we take a moment to thank our sponsors. The Women at HVACR, we are a nonprofit organization, and the programs and resources we provide are made possible by our sponsors. So thank you for the sponsor of this episode, which is Nest.
I started a company at PSI Mechanical. That was now 2016. It's been like almost 10 years since I've been running this company. Ever since we've been working with NES, it's been really good. There is not many females running this business. NES has helped out a lot with that because I'm a female owner. We get business like anybody else. Okay, so it's not like, you are a female, you are not going to give you, this work. NES has helped us more than any other company that we work with from the beginning.
Compared to another that we already use, we recommend it 100% because in our experience, we have almost like 10 years working with them.
NES is like more organized. It's on top of everything, and every time we call NES, they answer the phone. Somebody answers the phone.
It doesn't matter the hours because sometimes we call at night and they always answer the phone and do the job and they just send the quote right away, send the papers.
The ISP is great because we don't waste any time, The technician go on site, they can do the clocking right there, and then when they finish the job, they can close the call. Let's say that they need a proposal, so they can do it right there. It's fast, so they can start doing the job. Instead of going to QuickBooks, you got everything there, and you can see everything.
ISP Connect for Nest, it's been good for our business because at the moment we need to do the quotes, send the paperwork for the workers in the job. It's easier to work with them in the phones to do all rescheduling and everything. So that's why we recommend it, because ISP Connect for Nest for us is the best thing we can have in the market right now.
Ness, we're really grateful for your support for this industry and your commitment to supporting the women professionals. Okay, so let's hop right into it. I have an incredible guest. As you guys know, the reason we created Behind the Title is because we believe your title doesn't define you, but your journey does. And so every leader in this industry has a story behind how they got here. And those stories really help us to all kind of learn powerful lessons together. So for this quarter, we're talking about leadership identity and exploring how women in our industry grow from working inside the business to leading, mentoring, shaping the future of trades. And that is why we chose Roslyn to be our guest today. She has an incredible story. She's co-founder of Eco Plumbers and the Eco University Trade School. And for over 19 years, she helped to scale her business from $0, starting from the bottom, to $95 million and leading initiatives all across the HR, training, administration, acquisitions, everything. She's been all up and through the business, which is exciting. She actually leads the company with her brother. But one thing that I thought was really cool about you, Roslyn, is that you are also a Lean Six Sigma black belt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so the last thing I wanted to mention about Roslyn and your incredible background is that you also are the owner of Moxie Project and Productivity Coaching, where you help build companies to hire smarter, train better, and grow faster. So thank you, Roslyn, for joining us. Really excited. First, let's just kick it off by telling me a little bit about this Lean Six Sigma black belt. What does that mean exactly, and how did you get into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an interesting certification to have in the trades, but I find a lot of reasons to use it whenever I can geek out over process improvement. I just love it. And so when I came across the opportunity a few years ago, actually about 7 years ago now, to get a what's called a yellow belt and just start exploring what it looks like, I was immediately hooked. And I went from yellow, green, yellow, all the way up until black belt. And
Wow.
started utilizing that through project management inside the trade. So Lean Six Sigma, the lean portion is really where it comes in handy is finding the waste, doing Gemba walks, observing the processes that are happening inside a department or cross departmental. The Six Sigma is the part that doesn't really benefit us as much. That's calculating defects per million. So it works a lot more in the manufacturing side of things, and since we aren't really doing that, but honestly it's been amazing. I love doing it, and so thanks for bringing that up and giving me a chance to geek out over process improvement.
Yeah, I just learned so much right now. Wow, that's incredible. I'm really intrigued by that. So I'm gonna go Google it later so I can learn more because that sounds really cool. So the first question I had, I would love for you to just tell us a little bit more about you. How did you get into this industry? How did you get into HVAC?
Okay, well, we started in plumbing first. And so my brother is a plumber by trade and was in the plumbing new build construction area right out of high school. Many of you have maybe heard his story throughout. And in 2007, when the industry unfortunately crashed for new builds, he had to reimagine what that was going to look like. And that included reaching out to his sister and saying, hey, I'm going to start over and do home service, need your support. And I immediately jumped on board and believed in what he was going to do and what he could accomplish as an individual who's extremely driven. And we got to work back in 2007. So 19 years that we started out as plumbing first.
Wow, really cool. Okay, so it's plumbing, and then you added HVAC, and you also have electrical in your business as well, right?
Yeah, so we had added sewer first. And so sewer is a vertical that most people don't think about initially when they're like, when I think, oh, we have four trades, and they're like, what's the fourth trade? And I'm like, oh, we have sewer excavation. And so that was our initial jumping off point was we were doing yard drains. And so once the yard drains kind of took off and we brought those in house, we had an opportunity to develop that sewer and doing actual underground replacements. And so we added sewer. And then after sewer, my brother came across an individual that he befriended and had this another opportunity to add HVAC. We'd spent a lot of time in the early years saying, like, we're just gonna be really good at our trade. Like, we're just gonna dominate the space in plumbing. And we did. It took a little while to take off and get our name in the space, but we were doing great, having about 40% growth rate year after year. And the opportunity came and he took it. And when you're rebranding and you're adding in HVAC, it just kind of makes sense to go ahead and tuck in electrical and say, well, let's just get it on the trucks too now while we're at it. And so we ended up adding electrical all at once. And so that's how we ended up with electrical too, because it just made sense during the rebrand to put it in there.
Hmm. Right, just a one-stop home services company. That makes sense. Okay, so tell us a little bit about some of your leadership decisions that really helped to fuel that growth. Because, like I said in your introduction, you grew your company to 95 million, which is very inspiring. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about some of those decisions that you made along the way in order to really fuel that growth, besides adding on those other affinity businesses?
Yeah, so a couple big pivot moments were definitely decisions that were made to expand my brother's ability to just take something and add additions like Service Titan early on and find something and be innovative. He was always quick to say, this is what's next and this is what's new and we're going to try it out. And so I think his adaptability to say, we're going to try it. And even if it didn't work out, his resilience to just bounce back. And we were like, we tried it. That one didn't work. We'll try something else and just continue to improve, but always being ready to take advantage of that next opportunity that was placed in front of him was incredible. And I get to be part of that and having helped being an integrator when Aaron had a new idea or something great that was going on. I was like, all right, what are we doing? And that's kind of how it came when we added in new locations and we had the market expansion and acquisitions. We had the opportunity to go into some neighboring markets and we went all in and got it done. The trade school, I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but that was also just a pivotal decision that was made, that we knew the trade shortage was happening. And he came one day, walked me over to a building that was about a block away and was like, this is going to be our trade school. And I was like, okay. And then you just started planning and got together the team of people that we needed to make it happen. And within 90 days, we were hosting our first class and
Wow.
getting technicians through this school. And so it's a wonderful experience. But I would say just being ready to add and change and pivot was really what made us successful in those years. We just got after a lot of different opportunities and didn't say no.
hmm I love that. And yeah, so I do see that ECO grew to 400 employees and your trade school graduated over 200 students into the trades, which is wow, that's like amazing. I do want to hear a little bit more about your trade school. So do you guys have like certifications that they're able to earn through that process? What does your trade school look like?
Yeah, so the trade school is probably the one thing in my career at ECO that I will say I'm the most proud of.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of cool stuff, but the school is definitely by far the most rewarding because you're giving back and you're offering this opportunity for usually younger individuals who are coming out of school and unsure of what they want to do. We also had a lot of military that were hired in through the training school, which was amazing to have them get careers started after transitioning out of the service. But the school itself in Ohio, the licensures of journeymen's is a little different. So state to state, you have to kind of figure that out, what works and what certifications are needed. But for us, it was kind of like basic training. We were able to put them through a 18-week program and get them up to speed on everything they needed to know about running maintenance calls and basic service calls, and then have them graduating into trucks and continuing to train. But yeah, the program ran through Next Tech. So there was an online part and a lab portion that was done as well. And so they have an opportunity to be very hands-on and practicing inside the lab. There's a whole like house that's like built in there. It's the platform that they can go on and climb under and all types of stuff. But it's really wonderful. And we got involved with the schools. I communicated with the high schools to build programs where seniors could come over and start learning the trade their last 9 weeks of their high school career to see if it was what they were interested in. And we had some of them stay and join and be part of the team. And so that was really wonderful too, to know that we were able to help them transition right out of school into something that they could be doing and building a life, you know?
Yes, totally. I love that. Inspiring the next generation of talent is so important. So that's incredible that you had that site to even talk to high schoolers. We do something similar where we're talking to high schoolers about the opportunities in the construction trades. It's so awesome and necessary for us to think about these youth and how we can help them. And it sounds like you guys were able to even hire them. So not only provide the information, but then also provide their career, their next step into the career. I love that so much. So talk to me a little bit about the challenges that you face because obviously you're growing this amazing company, but at the same time, you're creating this pipeline with this school. What were some of the challenges you faced as you were navigating the growth of the business and the growth of the school at the same time?
Good question. It was a 5-year period from 2020 through 2025 where there was just a lot of growth and a lot of things were happening. And so, like all hands on deck, we're all part of all these different initiatives and projects that are going on. And so, while I was the director of administration for HR, I was very much involved in leading the launch for another location in Cincinnati. And everybody just really had to chip in. We have some great people on our team that are very capable individuals of tackling some of the stuff. But I would say having the manpower, woman power to do it is tough. So that was always a setback, was hard to have enough people and be able to kind of balance the being inside the business and working the day to day, and then also being able to be above the business and help it grow is a challenge for sure. You have to be able to say, this is what I can work on right now and how much can we get to, but when you're pushing for growth, that balance is tough. And I think making sure you have that foundational team that can head up projects or initiatives is probably the best place to be first. Making sure you got it, because it can be tough.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the school, and being able to pivot. The school opened in 2020, and so we were dealing with the complications of COVID and what that needed to look like and how we could adapt, and being ready to adjust how we handled the students was important, and those types of challenges. And again, something from Lean Six Sigma is called the VOC, which is the voice of the customer. So during the process, we would continually stop and ask the students exactly what they were experiencing and what we could do different, and being able to pivot quickly and make those decisions to say, well, we're going to do it differently this way. They wish they had this first. They wish they had this knowledge or that. And being adaptable to quickly say, no, this is a better way of doing it, and was based off of a lot of what the students were just providing us as feedback.
Wow, that's such a good point to hear the voice of the customer. I think that is so impactful when you are recognizing that, yes, you bring a certain level of expertise, but everything we do is about serving people, right? So if you're not able to get their feedback to know what would actually be impactful for their experience, how do you know you're doing the right thing? So wow, I love that. And talk to me a little bit about some of those important hires, because you did talk about how you had to have the right team in place in order to even grow and be able to work on the business and sometimes get out of working in it and work on it. So who were, or maybe not their names necessarily, but what were some of those important hires, those positions that you had to have in place to help you guys grow?
I would say and this was a higher transition within, having somebody who can focus on continuous improvement and be able to drive initiatives. While that is kind of a luxury hire and not everybody what might have the budget for that, I totally understand. But if you can identify an individual inside your team that even just carries some of that skill and is passionate about it, keep an eye on them, allow them the opportunity to work on some projects and let them shine. But anybody who is skilled in project management or continuous improvement is important. I will say early on, some of the great hires that were made, my brother introduced us, got a marketing manager who took over internally. And so we had an internally marketing team, and they are fantastic. Love those ladies and what they do. And that was huge to take a lot of that weight off and just be able to have them handling all things marketing, right? Events. And they were helping me on the culture team and help me plan internal culture, right? But then show up at all the shows and the trade shows that you need to be at. And so another amazing hire that my brother brought on board was when our CFO brought on our CTO. And so then our data exploded because we had somebody who was focused on technology and all the reporting that we could ever imagine. So yeah, a couple really just like solid hires that can come in and really, really make big moves. Ultimately, they're tough to find, but they're worth every penny to have those people that can just make big moves in your company.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you just mentioned the creativity and innovation that's necessary in order to grow a business. And so something I thought was interesting about your background is that you actually went to school for graphic design. So could you talk a little bit about how that experience helped to influence your innovation and creativity? Because I think some people think like, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, it's kind of one size fits all when it comes to our businesses all do this, can look the same. But what we know as business owners is that in order to be a standout company, in order to really build culture and train within your company, you need to have that creativity and innovation because you're called to a specific customer, a specific team member. You want your culture to reflect who you are, right? And what you're trying to build. So could you talk a little bit about that graphic design experience and how it kind of plays into what you do now in your company?
Yeah. So the creativity side has always just been there, but then I have that type A that's just very much the process. So I'm kind of this like split personality of like, I love being creative and coming up with solutions. But then I'm also very like process driven and how do we document it and how do we do it right and how do we follow the rules? But did I get some opportunities along the way to use my graphic design skills? Sure, here or there. But like I said, we have an amazing marketing team that was just knocking it out of the park. But as far as creativity goes, in my current business now for Moxie Project and Productivity, I actually just recently made a post talking about how we need to stop thinking that all of these businesses are the exact same and that they're all cookie cutter and they're all doing the same thing. And we put them inside these boxes. And ultimately, when you're looking for somebody who can coach or consult, you need to look for somebody who's there to work with you and be innovative and be creative to create solutions for you based off of your needs, your resources, the budget that you have in place, and not just say, well, this is how it should be done and this is how everybody else does it. Being able to kind of manipulate or massage things into a working system for everybody and because each company is unique and should be unique. That's what makes them stand out. And so you've got to be ready to be creative and come up with ideas and different marketing things, and especially inside your culture. What are you doing to have fun and recognize and reward and be different and stand out? So I would say that's where I got to use some of my creativity for sure. And I'm looking forward to now my next chapter in life, being able to share those skills with a multitude of companies in the trades and help them build these processes and be innovative.
Yes, that is invaluable. Wow, that's really good. And I remember when you and I were talking before, you shared how, for many years you were just really working with your head down at the shop, growing the company. And now you're in this new season, you're stepping into your own level of leadership and identity. Can you tell that story a little bit? Because I thought that was really intriguing, your partnership with your brother. And then when you had that aha moment, could you share that with everybody?
Yeah. Aaron has always been the face, the forward. He's, the majority owner in the company and was out and about. And he did such a great job with being networking and meeting people and being at events. And my role initially, I ran a call center and dispatch and was building those. And then I switched over and was more full-time into the HR side of things. And so there wasn't as many opportunities for me to leave and go to events or be at things or sign up and do podcasts. And I just was busy. I had my people, my team, I had, questions and things coming at me and projects and initiatives. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of time. And the very first time I got my head above water and was signed up for a lunch and learn through Nexstar, I was like, oh, I'm finally going to get on here. This is great. And I get on and I'm meeting the ladies and I end up having a conversation with one of the ladies who's running it from Nexstar. And she says, oh, I didn't know there was a sister at ECO. And Janal, I was so embarrassed. I was like, wow, I've been doing this for, I mean, at that point, like 17 years, right? And we'd been members of Nexstar for almost like 9 years or something, right? And people had come in toward our shop. I'd given some of those tours. And I was like, yeah, wow, nobody knows who I am. And it was okay. It's not like I was like, oh, I wish people knew me. Like, not like that. It just, I understood that I was falling behind in the power of networking and the power of having mentors and being a mentor and what it means to be part of these great groups. And I got off the call and was like, wow, I've got some work to do and I need to make progress for myself in this area. And so what's wonderful and why this is such a full circle moment for me is that the first thing I did, because I was like coming off the heels of people were at the like Texas event that you guys did. And I was like, oh, that looked really cool and all that stuff. And so the first thing I did was sign up for Women of HVACR and I got a mentor. And I was like, okay, I have a mentor. I'm joining groups. And then last year I went to Vegas. And so that was like my first like big girl event is what I think. And I got to meet all these incredible women and made connections and made a point to just walk right up and be like, hi, I'm Roslyn. And, can we connect afterwards? And did my best to build relationships. And, this is just kind of wild for me that it's full circle for me to have been at the event last year and not have known anybody in the space. And now I'm getting the pleasure to speak with you today.
Yeah, that is so cool. I really love that. I know that will resonate with so many women in our industry because we are kind of go-getters and we just do the thing. And, the culture has shifted a bit where it's kind of you actually show up first on podcasts or on social media or right. You kind of put your face out there first and then you start to grow. But I love you telling the true story that I think all need to know, which is that there's actually a long season of just rolling up your sleeves and doing the thing. And, eventually you come to this space where, now you can actually share all that wisdom and knowledge and give back. And so I love you even talking about how you went and got a mentor and then you also are ready to mentor because that is what really, makes our jobs more than just a job, right? Now you're stepping into this level of, okay, I've learned all these things and like, how can I help better the world around me? And then creating your business Moxie also to take it a step further. So I just love hearing that journey. Looking back on your journey and you're thinking about scaling your business, launching your new initiatives, starting your new business, your new role with Moxie. How has your definition of leadership evolved for you?
That's a good question. My definition of leadership. I think that leadership is one of those things that, first of all, I don't think anybody fully has it figured out. We're all still learning and we're all still getting better at it. And I think that everybody views it as this like really desirable position to be in, that, I'm going to be in leadership and I'm going to, kind of be at like the top of the hierarchy there, the food chain. And it is tough. You find for a lot of owners that it can be very lonely, or it can just be extremely exhausting, fatiguing to be in leadership roles. But my viewpoint that changed is going from feeling like you were directing more of the ship of what needed to be going on and rolling things down, to finding your ability to actually step into a equal partnership and have it be more of that handshake where you're working together, versus always feeling like, oh, it's got to come from me, the top down. And that was really a big mindset shift for me, was like, no, this is really more about a handshake. Again, that agreement between all of us of what we're doing, and what can you give and what can I give and what do you need from me. My last thought on leadership is definitely, for me personally, it was learning my delivery and how I go about expressing what I need or what my expectations are, and learning that those little bit of how you come across or the way you word something is incredibly impactful. And so if you're moving into a leadership position, or you are in one, I would definitely just, focus on how you're delivering your messages.
Oh, that's a good one. Delivery. Yeah, especially as women, I think we're very passionate when you're passionate, you're like passionate. And
Yeah.
also we have like we get the feels about things. And so to think about that as you are leading other people, how do you want to be received, and what is the image that you're creating that is respected, but also still, I think all of us care about being kind and good to our people too. So really working on that. That's a really
Yeah.
good one.
My sister made a great comment a long time ago that really resonated with me, which was that we were first generation Midwesterners. And so, having parents who are from New York and growing up with New York family, we're a little bit more just direct. We're just kind of
Correct.
matter of fact about it and just say it as it is. And you're just like, what? Yeah, let's go. And so she was like, she's in the medical field, and she's like, it took me a while to realize that, like, we're first generation Midwesterners. We've got some work to do on how we deliver some of our messaging. And I'm like, that's fair. That's a good point.
So good. And that actually is the same for me. I live in Texas, but I wasn't raised in Texas. I grew up in Detroit, and the culture is very different. It's like you're saying, more direct. And so I actually learned that in my first job here in Texas. My manager, he talked to me and he's like, so, I know you're not from Texas. We're all used to a little bit of sugar on everything. And I was really grateful that he took time to like help me realize that. Thankfully, your sister kind of came to that conclusion, but I didn't realize I was being too direct with people. So my team they were kind of like, yeah, Janal's a little tough.
Yeah. You're like, what? We're just getting it done. We just
Yeah,
gotta.
let's go. We're moving. Yeah. Such a good point, especially as you step into leadership. At that point, I wasn't a leader yet, right? I'm just working my first job here. But before you step into leadership, to really think about that, what does that delivery look like? So that's a good point. Okay, you have given us so much great information. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. But I do want to, before we wrap it up, I would love if you could share a little bit about any mistakes that you feel like you made along the way, lessons learned that you think would really help the women that are listening to think about how they could navigate similar challenges.
Okay, good one. We talked a little bit about the networking. So I would say, and unfortunately, all the people that need to hear this message are the ones that probably aren't listening right now because they're head down right now working. But
Yep, exactly.
spread the word that, take the time, join a group, find people that are either in similar positions, whether you're the call center manager or dispatch manager, it doesn't matter. Just find those groups and those people, even if it's a Facebook group, or listen to the podcast and hear what people are having to say. And that way you don't, feel as alone in some of those struggles or challenges. And then my big one is making sure that along the way as women, we don't lose our purpose or start to feel unfulfilled. Because when my pivot happened about 2 years ago, we think that it's burnout or we did something wrong, and we're like, why am I not doing as well as I used to, or why do I feel like something's off or just doesn't feel right? And it's really what I found out, that I wasn't necessarily burnt out. I wasn't being as fulfilled in my purpose and my passion. That was really what I wanted. And so I had to spend some time searching and finding out, what is it that I want to do and where can I give? And so discovering what your values are and what you want to accomplish, and like getting aligned with those before you end up in a position where you feel burnt out, but you may have just ultimately got sidetracked from your purpose or what fulfills you.
Mm. Wow, that's good. You're talking to me now. I love that, to just stay focused on and taking time, because seasons change, right? So what I hear you saying is to also take that time out and evaluate and reconsider, how am I feeling now? What actually is driving me, to make sure that you don't experience that burnout. Because if we're doing fulfilling work, it makes sense that you don't work a day in your life. That's how the quote goes, right?
Yes, yeah, correct. Yes. So take that time and make sure that it's fulfilling you. And if it's not, if you have to pivot, or you can find other ways to be a mentor, because maybe you just feel like you're not, giving enough, or you need a mentor so that somebody is supporting you. Any of those things, but definitely take the time to explore and listen to yourself and be like, am I where I need to be? Am I doing what I need to be doing? For ourselves.
Yes, that's so good. Well, thank you, Roslyn. Thank you for your
Yeah, thank
time, for
you.
joining us, sharing your story. Your journey is really inspiring, and the way that you're impacting our industry really will push us all forward in getting to hear your story. So I know this is one of your first podcasts, but I look
Yeah,
forward to seeing you on others and
thank
seeing
you.
you at conference. And I'm really excited just to watch your journey evolve. And thank you, everybody who is watching and listening. We know that behind the title, again, it's just to push us forward. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay connected with us at the Women of HVACR, and see you guys next time.